Guys, I want to be honest with you. This is one of the hardest interviews I've seen in a long time.
She, like, as without any warning, she just took the razor and she started cutting my genitals. It's a different kind of pain. Like, you go into shock, and my body just became absolutely numb.
When was the first time you heard about anything related to female genital mutilation?
I grew up in Mogadishu, Somalia. I remember when I was 6 years old, we had practically the whole village were, coming up to us, and people would approach us. Majority were women, and they would say, you're doing something amazing. You're going to become a woman. You're going to be clean, more respected. So I knew that it was something rather important from what everybody was saying. But as a child, living in a place where it was so normal, the practice FGM was so normalized that we never saw anyone get it done. So we just took everybody's word for it, and we were very excited.
It was normalized. They didn't even know what it was. They were just excited about it, Just little kids being little kids.
Is it true that there are different types of FGM?
Type 1 is where they either partly remove or fully remove just the clitoris. Type 2 is when if they partly remove or fully remove the clitoris and the labia. Type 3 is the part removal or the full removal of the clitoris, the labia, some cases the labia majora, and your zone as well. Type 4 is just like a category of everything else. It was myself and 2 of my cousins, and we were taken to my grandma's house. And when we came in, I noticed that there was a woman there. Another, my older family members came, and they were just, standing around, hovering around. And then they said, okay, who wants to go first? I knew that there was no way that I was going to go first. So I just stayed quiet. Normally, I'm the first to, put my hand up. And my cousin, she went first. And the moment, I think, she was walking so calm. And then when she got to this chair, it's like made out of skin. The moment she sat down on it, it was, I think, 4 or 5 family members who were there and the cutter. They just grabbed her with, it was so quick. I don't even know how to describe it. It was, one person was holding onto her hands, and then 2 people were holding onto her legs, opened it wide, and it started cutting. It wasn't even, let me prepare her for this. It was just like instant, and the razor was about that big, and it had blades on either end. They put a cloth over her mouth so the screaming, wasn't so loud, because this procedure was done to us without any painkillers, any anesthetics, and
No painkillers, no anesthetic, nothing at all, no preparation, just jump straight right at it. Cutting.
And she just started cutting. So when me and my other cousins saw the blood, we got so scared, and the screaming. So we ran, and we ran as fast as we could in opposite direction. But my uncles were there, so they ran after us and managed to bring us back, because obviously our tiny little legs couldn't get anywhere. And we were brought back, and by the time we came back, my cousin was being sewn. And I can't explain to you, like sitting there and dreading and knowing what's about to happen to you, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. And when my cousin was done, they like put her legs together, tied it with a cloth, picked her up and placed her on the floor, like so carefully, just placed her down. Like nothing happened, like everything that just happened was okay.
I'm in no way related to these people. But if I tell you that I don't feel this pain, I lie.
And then it was my turn. But obviously I was fighting. I was like, there is no way you're going to put me on that chair without a fight. There's just no way. And being a 6-year-old, I did not have that much strength. And I had an adult hold one hand, an adult hold the other, an adult one leg, an adult another leg. And they just pushed me down onto the chair and tried to keep me as still as possible. It's another level of terror to know that the people that were supposed to protect you were the ones doing this to you.
This line hits me really hard. The people that are supposed to be protecting you are the ones doing this to you. That was what pained her the most. And the way she's sitting down calmly telling her story, you just know that she's about to reveal something even more gory. This pain is real.
And whilst I was sat on the chair and, my limbs were being held down, I turned to the cutter and I looked down and she had a jar, an open jar, and it had bits, which obviously now, being an adult, I know is genitals, bits and pieces, labia, clitoris, labia majora, excess skin, were all in the jar, and they were just bloody, and I felt sick. I felt sick, and she, like I said, without any warning, she just took the razor and she started cutting my genitals. And I believe she cut my clitoris and my labia and excess skin, I think. And then she shot it together and she sewed it. Whilst I was awake, I can't even describe the feeling of being sewn alive. Like, it's a different kind of pain. Like, you go into shock, and my body just became absolutely numb. So they sew the top of the vagina all the way down, and they leave a tiny hole for when you get married. That is tiny. It's almost impossible to penetrate. Impossible. I didn't know how to react. I was fighting so much. When it came to the sewing, I stopped fighting because my body didn't know what to do. And
poor girl.
They tied my legs together. They lift me up and they put me down next to my cousin. And then we had to watch my other cousin have her procedure done. I didn't know, but they slaughtered an animal beforehand and they drained all the blood out. So they put the blood all over us from head to toe, covered us in blood, literally washed us in blood, and then told us to stand there until the blood dried. And I don't know, I think we stood there for at least an hour or over an hour, and then we were washed off the blood.
How is that hygienic?
And then we just never spoke about it.
How is that hygienic? Guys, if this one didn't make you feel cold, if this one didn't make your heart cut, then I think you've got an emotion. I've seen circumcision. I've seen the pain, of just normal circumcision with anesthesia. So when the anesthesia has been injected in the place, I've seen that pain. All right, I've seen it. It's not nice, and that's with anesthesia. But here they are, with no painkillers, no anesthesia at all, nothing, just live, raw, straight, cut, no preparation. The most shocking thing about this, what really shocked me wasn't just what she went through, but it was how young she was when she had to experience that. And again, guys, I have to be clear. This is not about attacking a culture, a community, a religion, a people, a country at all. It's about listening to one woman's experience that most people never get to hear. And as she kept speaking, you realize that this wasn't just a moment in her childhood. It affected her body. It affected her as a person. It affected her trust. When she said these, when she talked about her family as these are the people that are meant to protect her, but they're the ones doing this to her. This affected her entire life. And guys, this is where it becomes uncomfortable, because this isn't just history. It's happening to girls today as we speak. So the question is, who's to blame? And why are stories like this still being whispered instead of confronted? In my opinion, I don't think awareness comes from shouting. I think it actually starts by listening, especially listening to stories like this that make us feel so uneasy. Because this one touched me somewhere. This one cut me deep. And if you've watched this far, guys, I would genuinely like to know what part of our story stayed with you the most. This isn't an easy video at all, but it's a very important one.